Good evening. Good evening and good evening. Welcome to Season 2 of BCBP Mission Go Live. You are now tuning in to Thirsty Thursdays. Grab a drink, sit back, and let's listen to the story of a real estate executive who went bankrupt, almost lost it all, and now is back on his feet, standing ground. I am your host, Dennis Bunye. First of all, a big shout out to all of you watching us live and for those of you watching the replay. Hello to all BCBP Alabang chapter members and all other BCBP community members out there. And of course, hello to our family and our friends. Please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for BCBP Alabang. Remember to give us a thumbs up and hit the bell for notifications. I am Dennis Bunye, and I am a professional life and corporate coach and a proud member of the BCBP, the Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen and Professionals, Alabang chapter. This Go Live online series is one way that we continue to live out our BCBP mission of bringing Christ to the marketplace and winning the marketplace for Christ. For this season, let us witness how real stories unfold and experience of growing deeper in faith. And to all our viewers, please chime in to tonight's conversation and type in your questions, comments, and insights. We all have a story to share. Now, many of us have been badly hit by this pandemic, and many of us lost our jobs. Many of us are struggling financially. Many of us are uncertain of what lies ahead. It can be very challenging to feel secure and safe. But tonight, I invite you to gently set all your worries aside, open your hearts, and listen to an inspiring story of how God works on us and with us to overcome what may seem to be the darkest times of our lives. Let me tell you a story of a good friend of mine who found not only a better life, but overflowing joy, something that we all need during these trying times. His name is Christopher Narciso. We call him Tope. He's currently an executive vice president with Arthaland Corporation. He is married to his lovely wife, Gia. Hi, Gia. Shout out to you. And a father to Andy, Rafa, and Sabine. He is also celebrating his 10th year as a member of the Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen and Professionals. So he is. Tope, good evening and happy anniversary.
Hey, Dennis. Good evening. Hello. Hello to everybody. Hi. I can see
bro?
all of you.
Yeah?
I'm really good, Dennis. And
That's
as
good.
you
That's
say,
good.
I'm better than I deserve.
Yes, I've heard that several times and I also use that. Better than I deserve, di ba? Very, very fitting. Kamusta, bro? How are you?
I'm good. I'm
And
doing good.
did you, are you celebrating your 10th year anniversary now? Di ba?
10th year
Dito
in
sa,
community.
yes, in
With the
community, di ba?
BCBP.
Yeah, can I cheers to that, pare? Happy anniversary.
Meron ako niyan. Sandali. Ikutin ko lang. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Di ba?
Hindi sanay. Naliligaw ako. There you go. Hi, Dennis. Good to see you.
Grabe, we're bringing our usual kwentuhan online, di ba? Oh, Thursday, Thursday. Some two Gen X guys doing this online. Diba? Diba? We can imagine. Pare, baka you can tell us you can tell us more about yourself, diba? Yung mga yung mas magandang introduction dyan. Well, aside from the fact na meron akong kaibigan na hindi lang gwapo pero saksakan ng gwapo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more, about you, about your work, 'di ba?
Well, about my work, I'm a real estate practitioner. I've been a developer for the last 25 years already. And I'm currently connected with Artelan Corporation. So I'm excited about all our projects because we are the only developer that does a pure play in terms of developing green and sustainable developments, all our projects. No? It's something that I've always wanted to do.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how are you coping with this pandemic, bro?
Well, just like almost every other business in the world, we're also having a hard time. Industry is struggling. Everything around is business unusual. So, of course, the business environment, the working environment is very difficult. I've been working from home for more than a year since March 16 last year. During the lockdown, I've been working from home, coordinating everything, trying to get my job done from home.
Okay, okay. That must be tough. So, you've been working from home for a long time already, but I'm sure hindi pa rin nag-diminish yung ano mo cheerfulness mo eh. And it's I'm so privileged and so honored to have you here for this pilot episode because I know that you have a very inspiring story to tell, 'di ba? This
Thank you.
show is something that the Lord led us to to inspire people with how we cope with our challenges and then how we break through all of those difficulties, diba? And yours is a very good story to tell. So thank you very much for trusting us. Okay. Now,
It's my pleasure.
you've I since I joined the brotherhood also, one thing that stood out for me is, of course, alam naman natin pare na may itsura ka, 'di ba? So natural standout ka. But more than that, more than that, it's that spirit of you're always joyful. Para kang cheerleader eh. Yung rara and that happiness is something that is overflowing and very contagious. But as I know about your sharing, it wasn't always like this, diba? There were like
Yeah.
several crises in your life before. Can you take us through that?
Well, thanks for the compliment, Dennis.
Mm-mm.
How I am now, really, in spite of the current pandemic, the difficulties at work and business, you can't help but still be very positive, joyful, happy. Given that I've been through far worse in the past. I've lost all my money. I've experienced being broke, not just broke, negative pa nga eh. So heavily in debt, di ba? And losing all your sense of pride. Um, yeah, when things were not going well.
How was it like? I mean, I know that we've all felt, financially challenged one time or another. But as you said it, bankruptcy. Would you say that was your pain at the time, or was it something else?
Yes, I'd say so. Yes, I think you know the story naman, no? From my childhood, growing up, I was very comfortable. My parents provided everything I needed, wanted. I had a good education, and somewhere down the road, you felt your ego being boosted. You felt that you were really good at everything. So after college, you work and you're successful, and I felt very I'd say self-absorbed that magaling ako and I wanted to be rich, and that's how I always defined success back then, di ba? To be super rich, powerful, influential. It evolved, revolved around that. So, and when I got into business, that's all I wanted to do, just make more money, more money. And it took the Asian financial crisis in 97, 98 that wiped out all the money that we made, ruined our business, left me in piles of debt. And you know the saying, when you hit dirt, you go below dirt. You go even lower than rock bottom. I think that's how I felt, and uh, you lose your self worth, your confidence, everything. Mawawala lahat talaga.
That's hard kasi pag financial yung tinamaan sa'yo, there are also a lot of other areas in your life that, gets affected, 'di ba? Would, would you say so na, na marami
I,
ding areas in your life that were
definitely,
affected? Yeah.
definitely. One thing was I was blaming everybody for my financial downfall.
Mm.
I refused to take responsibility for it. Everything was not my fault. That's how I saw it, and I was lashing out at everything. I would be super upset, super confused, super stressed. Di ba? I was thinking that what am I doing wrong? What should I do? When creditors are hounding you, I felt like a failure. I was actually a failure at that time because I couldn't provide the basic needs of my family. I had to borrow from family and friends just to pay for my children's tuition. It was so embarrassing that my wife was had to work odd jobs just to make ends meet for us, no? And I was just so confused, and to a certain extent I was so depressed at that time. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to go out. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. And, relating to you as a father and as a provider, that's something that I would say I will not wish on any father to happen, di ba? It really
Oh,
robs you of
absolutely, absolutely.
some identity, di ba? Yung tinatamaan, di ba? Pero at the time
Dennis,
also,
you know,
mm,
as a father, since you mentioned that, no,
yeah.
as a husband, I was a terrible husband at that time. I would
Mm,
have fights with Gia,
mm,
and I was a terrible father at that time as well. No,
yeah.
I was so self-absorbed. I saw myself as a victim, and I was screaming at my kids if they irritated me. Same with Gia, di ba? My wife. So yeah.
So that pain of yours must have creeped into other relationships, 'di ba? In how did that affect your relationships in general?
Well, you know what's worse? What's worse
Mm.
really is beyond. What's worse beyond losing everything. All your material wealth, possessions, being bankrupt, embarrassed, um, was recalling recalling the fact that I totally screwed up as a husband and a father. It's when I actually hurt my family. I almost lost them because of a major mistake as a husband, um, at that time. And I don't know, not to make any excuses, but I was wrong. So it was one major mistake on top of a major pain.
So it felt like parang you were going on a downward spiral. Tama ba? Was that that?
Oh yes, oh
Oh.
yes, yes,
Oh.
yes. And just to make up for it, to cover up, you tell yourself all the excuses.
Hmm.
How I hurt Gia, how I
Hmm.
hurt the kids.
Hmm.
You cover it up with lies.
Hmm.
So it's one lie after another,
Hmm.
making excuses both for financially and
Hmm.
even for failure in a relationship.
Hmm. Hmm. What was going on in your mind during that time? I mean, I can just imagine parang kang, alam mo yung parang as you wake up every day, parang dark clouds kaagad, especially when you say that you're being hounded by the banks, diba? By lawsuits, and parang every day I can imagine. But can you, how was it? How was it at
Well,
that time with you?
if I try to recall, I didn't want to wake up the next day. You try to stay up all night, not wanting to go on the next day because it's the same thing that you're going to face. Yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I was, how old was I then? In my late 20s, all the way up to my mid 30s. I had to go through that, no? One failure after another. Diba? So, and then in my mid 30s, that's when I actually made that catastrophe in my married life, in my vows to Gia, that my mistakes, my failure, shortcomings as a father to my kids, diba? So it was really compounded, Dennis.
What's no? Parang I know that this is not easy, to, especially when we reflect on this right now. But what's a burning image inside your mind of this past, and something that
Well,
you wish you can always turn around, diba?
I think that's the thing that you have to live with is that the of course the financial bankruptcy, you get past that, diba? And
Mm.
that's the thing, really,
Mm.
going for wealth, all of that, it's all fleeting. It's really
Mm.
the relationships that you ruin, diba? That will stick with you, diba? Being a, a bad husband at the time, a father, um, the the thought of being a bad person, di ba? Yung masungit ka, namamalit ka ng tao, um, you lie, uh, your temper. I had no control of my temper back then. Um, and the way you get mad. So if there's a burning image, what Dennis is, I was such a bad person. I don't know why I'm laughing about that.
Actually, hindi ko ma-imagine, bro. I know. I've known you in the brotherhood, and somebody who's always, it's always smiling, is always positive. It
Yeah.
I can't wrap my mind around that image of a Chris
But
before, no.
you
So
know,
so when I
you
think,
know, it's funny that you said that. No, you knew me when
mm,
I was already in the Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen Professionals in our Catholic community, and
yes,
actually, that's what it took um,
ah,
for me to change. Diba? When
okay. Uh-uh. So between the Chris of before to the Chris that I know right now, what happened in between aside from this? Can you expound on your experience with with the BCBP?
well, it was during those times that I was trying to get out of financial bankruptcy. I got back into corporate life because really, when I got into businesses, a lot of businesses that failed after the Asian crisis, I was building my way back. And when I was starting to, find my success again in corporate, my relationship with Gia, my wife, still wasn't okay. The hurt that I caused her, the mistakes that I've made, it was there. And just when I was already starting to doubt whether our marriage would survive, Gia said she wanted us to join a religious group. And that's when I found myself, just a concession to her was I went with her and we ended up in one Saturday attending a breakfast in Alabang Country Club, and that turned out to be the BCBP breakfast. And eventually, from there, it led us to the Christian Life program that we attended. And that's where it all changed for me, Dennis. I
Nice.
went through that Christian Life program, and
Mm-mm.
that's where I rediscovered my relationship with God.
Galing. Yun nga, di ba? Parang from what I know is that, God meets you wherever you are. Di ba? And
Oh,
where you are at.
absolutely.
Di ba? So, parang reminds me of the story of a prodigal son, di ba? Parang uh, after all that you did, the Lord is still there welcoming you and,
Yeah,
running towards you. So, and I know that and as you mentioned nga, this encounter with the Lord is something that is very personal and intimate, diba? And there's a feeling that when you encounter the Lord, He has known you for a long time. Kasi parang He's just like really pushing the right buttons, eh. Parang gano'n. How was it with you? How was your
I
experience then?
for
Oo.
me, for me,
Oo.
I didn't even know that the Lord was already starting my journey to transformation, diba? To healing. When I accompanied Gia to that first breakfast, the first impression for me was I was very irritated. I got even more irritated when I saw the people there. You know why? You know why, Dennis? Because they all looked so happy. Di ba? They were all so genuinely happy and joyful. And I was asking myself, wala ba mga problema sa buhay itong mga tao na to? And at first I was irritated. And then
Yeah,
later on, when I started,
ano ba
di
iniinom
ba?
nila tong mga to, 'di ba?
Ano ba nasa kape? Ano ba nasa kapeng binibigay nitong mga to, di ba? And then
Sobra sa asukal.
I listened to the talk, to the sharing, the testimony of the speakers back then. And what crossed my mind was I want whatever they have. I
Hmm.
want that kind of relationship with the Lord. I want to
Hmm.
have to experience again that genuine peace, inner
Hmm.
peace and joy in
Hmm.
life. No, whatever they are
Hmm.
having, I wanted that. So I kept on going, and until I went to the Christian Life program, and I listened to the talks each Saturday, and until you know you find yourself saying yes to going to the next Saturday talk, and
Hmm.
eventually that's how the Lord works.
Galing. Ano yung did you notice any change in you? Anything gradual, anything drastic while you were undergoing, that your encounter with the Lord?
At one point in the Christian Life program, Dennis,
Hmm.
um, I felt that overwhelming sense of peace. It
Oh, nice.
I
Hmm.
won't even try to describe it.
Ah.
You guys out there have to experience it to
Mm-mm.
understand what I'm talking about. But
Hmm.
trust me, I felt it. I felt it, and it was a peace. It really felt good, and I just felt that there was so much hope, and everything was going to be okay. Right? And true enough, looking back, as you said, I'm celebrating my 10th year anniversary in community, and looking back, everything is so much better now, so much better than I ever expected and prayed for. And it's just like you describe in the movies. No matter how bad the scene is, akala mo mamamatay na lahat, di ba? At the end, everything is okay, and that I think that's how God meant it to be for everybody. We don't. It's not going to be a problem-free life, but at least no matter what the problems are, like what we're going through now, the pandemic, the quarantine, business is difficult. For others, probably it's worse now. But the challenges, we talk about Zoom fatigue, but now at least I believe that the Lord will always make everything better. That's what He meant for us.
That no, but when reality sets in, diba? You get this natural high. The Lord has filled you with His Holy Spirit, but you still find yourself accountable. And I'll just pick up one question from our viewer, no, from Betchay. Okay, so which was more difficult to fix, the financial or the marital crisis?
Hmm. I think the marital crisis, because it's a relationship. No, you're the moment you're dealing with people.
Mm.
You guys who manage people, you know that the moment you have to deal with someone, it's very challenging. So even more when it's somebody you love, when you have a personal relationship with a person, that somebody you love, and you've hurt that person, you've disappointed that person, you let them down really
Mm.
badly, then you break the trust. So I would say that's much harder to rebuild, no, to regain the trust.
Mm. Okay. So when you look back, what was the most impactful moment when you were encountering the Lord? I mean, we all have our moments with Him, because that's why it feels so intimate. Eh. What was it for you?
Besides that peace that I felt,
Mm.
after several years of just not being able to sleep, always worrying about the future, how is it going to become, from that feeling of hopelessness. And then you feel that. And then from there, you have hope. You know that things are going to be okay. And the first thing that you know that's going to be okay is your relationship, the troubled relationships. But of course, it's not always that smooth, Dennis. I mean,
Mm.
after a while, you go back to your work, you go back to the regular world, everything sets in again, and you start reverting back to your habits, your attitudes. 40 years of how you were brought up and conditioned. So it's a good thing we have our Saturday men's breakfast that we go to for community, and that's what always refreshes me and reminds me and puts me in that super grateful state of mind, that where I'm thankful the Lord has given me this opportunity to change. It's like a reset for second chances, and that gives you hope. So I think that plus all the formation programs that we go through as part of community, um, it seems like a slow change. But after 10 years now, looking back, I'd say, oh, I think I'm a better person now.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's
little
funny.
better. I'm a little better now,
It's
especially
funny you
with
mentioned
dealing with
that,
other
pare.
people.
Yeah, oh, and I could just imagine. I mean, you have childhood friends who, you grew up with you, people who have known you in work, probably the old Chris, diba? So, ano kaya yung reaction nila? Can you recall? I mean, as you were changing,
Super.
how was it? Mm-mm.
Siguro, the people that I worked with before I joined community, Dennis, um, you'd either like me, and most of them would probably hate me,
Hmm.
because it was all just being successful. It was just all about myself. I had to prove that I'm good. I have to be able
Hmm.
to prove myself. And when I was in corporate, I just drove. Objective was to do good, to look good, uh, to achieve. So never mind, no? So pag nagkamali yung tao, wala akong pasensya, sigawan kita, pagalitan kita, and the way I would belittle you and talagang personal, it was really bad. So people back then would probably say, "Oh, this guy is a beep beep." What? you choose
An
you,
AH.
an AHSOB,
Yes.
di ba?
Parang millennials lang, daming acronyms eh. No?
Oh, di ba? So, di ba? I
That's
mean,
nice. That's nice. Oh,
yeah.
that's nice to know. And we have a question here from Chio also. Did you involve your kids with your problems, at least with the financial challenges, or did you shield them?
Um, I try to I try to shield them. I try to shield them, but um, when it's really that bad, it's
Mm.
difficult to shield them, really, you know.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I could shield them from the status of our finances. You know, I could. I They were young back then, and I could make up things, but I could not shield them from my character, my attitude back then, because I was so affected by all of it, and I was snapping at them, screaming at them. I was highly irritable. I couldn't shield them from that, diba? But I guess mababaw lang kaligayahan namin noon. I remember we would go to SNR. We would go to SNR just to because we enjoyed the cold, malamig eh. Tapos mabango pa. And we liked looking at the stuff, but I couldn't afford to buy anything.
Yeah.
So we always told the kids, "Oh, just look, huh? We're just here to look, but we cannot buy anything." So, grabe. And the worst part then, I recall was this was the ultimate low for me. My youngest daughter, at one point, and she was only 6 years old back then, suffered her first epileptic attack where I didn't know what was happening, and it was late in the evening, and she convulsed and collapsed. So I had to rush her to the hospital, to the emergency room, and I thought she was dying, but she had to be admitted to the hospital. And when I was talking to Gia, I was I I found myself in tears because I told her, "Paano tayo? I have less than 500 pesos. That's all the money I have. Diba? And how are we going to pay for all of this?" And and
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
after all
Yeah.
of that, and then you go through it, and it's those things, those situations that made me realize now, God will just provide for you. That's why family and friends are there.
Yeah. I feel you, bro. And not only as a father but as a friend. Of course, you don't want to see your friend undergoing, that situation ever. Okay, we also have another friend here who has a question. Ito, alam mo, saksakan din to ng gwapo eh. From Bobby Tatendido. What was the first... Lalaglag ka nito, pare. Okay, basahin ko na ha. What was the
Pag
first
nila,
substantial change did you see that was noticed by others?
I think it was my patience. It was my patience at work. Uh, when people appreciate it that you are more patient, you're more kind, in spite of you tolerate mistakes, you're kinder in the way you talk. I think that was the one that was most noticeable by people. Of course, they also noticed that I always prayed before meetings.
Nice.
And actually, people that really appreciate that. Surprising. Well, at least for me, I was surprised. I thought people would get turned off when I'd request that we start off before we started the meeting, that we start with a prayer. And for me, I was surprised that people actually welcomed it and appreciated it.
Nice. And yeah, I agree with you eh. Parang sometimes parang it prevents us, 'di ba? Na parang you don't want to be bold, so bold with your faith, pero you can't help but really testify. And so nakikita sa actions mo, and then magugulat na lang sila, okay, why is this guy praying, 'di ba? But after a while, it
Sure.
really sets the tone, and I'm a witness to that. Um 10 years in the brotherhood, tope, and just like any relationship, 'di ba? It flourishes when you nurture it, when you care for it, when you give time and attention. So, how do you nurture your relationship with the Lord? Sabi mo nga, merong programs ang BCBP. You personally, how do you do that?
Well, one is what I've learned really, the importance of prayer. every opportunity that you get to pray, uh, grab it. And it can be a very short prayer, very personal prayer, candid prayer. And you know, then the when 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 we go through the formation programs, learning more about our faith, and hearing, for me, what touched me most really is hearing the sharing, the testimony of other people about how the Lord has saved them, touched them, converted them. Um, I mean, I guess I could relate to that, no? From being the person that I was, from how I saw myself back then, and how I see myself now, and others see me now. For me, that's a miracle. That's a miracle, really. No, from the salvation uh, that I had to go through, from salvation from bankruptcy, salvation from a ruined marriage or relationship. For me, that's a miracle, and for me, it's very important that you are grateful, and you remind yourself every day, every moment, of those miracles and blessings that have been given to us. So we eliminate yung natural tendency to be um, tawag doon, yung tawag natin sa mga millennials, yung feeling of entitlement. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm going to offend any generation. I'm sorry. But the
Oh,
feeling of
marami.
entitlement, di ba?
Oh. Okay, speaking of millennials, I'd like to pick up a question from a millennial, si MM Morales. During
Hi,
your
MM.
dark moments, yeah, where did your will end and let God's begin? Bigat ng question ni MM, bro.
Oh, I think when when you go over the edge, when you go over the edge, when you've tried everything, and you have to understand, no, my it was a series of bad businesses, bad decisions, bad investments, and everything was wiped out. And um, that was for several years. And when you can't provide even the basics of your family, and you see that you're dependent, completely dependent on others to survive and to provide. At that point, I just said, Lord, I can't take it anymore. It's up to you. How do I get out of this? I think that was the start. When I think that was the start. And for me, if I reflect back, it's really just doing that. Everything is not within my control, and everything that I am, is because of God. It's all a blessing. Diba? Whatever success that I've encountered, it's not me. Diba? Sino ba naman ako? Diba? So, to answer the question, really, that was it. When wala ka na magawa eh.
Nice. Thank you for that, Chris. And you know, seeing you now, I see that you've been, the way you speak, pare, talaga namang it resonates, di ba? And I would say that you have been very successful in living your faith, right? And putting your faith in action. So what have been your personal victories at work? In the BCBP, we call it the marketplace, di ba? What have been your
Yeah.
victories? Yeah.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to emphasize, diba? All the 10 years in community, in spite of the change, the transformation, doesn't mean that there's no more problems. It doesn't mean that I'm a saint. I'm still a sinner. Yeah, that's what I like to say. I'm a sinner, diba? But God loves a sinner, and
Amen.
I, diba? And you know, uh, when I talk about my successes and how I practice my faith, how I exercise it in at work. It's always important that, people will say, are you make mistakes still, but they say, but why are you in community if you're still a sinner? You still do a lot of bad things. And I say, the difference is, back then I was a sinner, running towards sin, but in community I'm still a sinner, but at least now I'm going towards good. I'm going towards the God, no? And I think that changes um, your motivation for doing things, your intentions for doing things. Back then, my intentions were to get rich, to get famous, to get powerful. That's why I did what I did. And now I think my main intentions really are, number one, to make sure that my loved ones, from Gia, my children, all go up to heaven. Second is that I my intention is, in everything I do, is hopefully I give glory to God with my work. So because of that, then, in my past, in the past company that I was working with, when I took over as the COO, I felt that the organization, and there were 140 of us, 140 in, and I felt that there was something wrong. I felt that people were kind of depressed. So I talked to our HR head, and we had this organizational climate survey. It measures the engagement of the employees. Uh, so we got Singaporean consultants to do it. Bottom line, everybody was depressed. The consultant told me, this is the worst company I've seen. This is the worst company I've seen. These people are so depressed. They wouldn't recommend anybody to work for you. So, oh my God, ano ba itong pinasukan ko? And that's where we came up with I convinced the other managers, executives, let's do this. I call it my Happy Happy Joy Joy initiative.
Yeah,
But,
happy, joy,
diba?
joy, pare. I
And
remember
again,
that.
ano,
Yeah.
happy, happy, joy, joy. Bottom line side, life is short. We all have to be happy at work. Work makes up most of our time in life. And if life is short, we all deserve to be happy. That's how the Lord uh, made us and intended for us. No, so if our colleagues are not happy with their work, what do we do? So we made sure that my objective, my intention was to make the workplace a happy place, fulfilling place. Even if they worked hard, they would be happy working hard. And we had to institute different initiatives to support the happy, happy, joy, joy. One of my favorite, Dennis, which actually I had to practice, that helped me, was what I call the Ilonggo initiative. Kasi, di ba, when the Ilonggos, when they speak, even if they're mad,
Uh,
upset,
malambing.
malambing pa rin. So I said, why don't we try practicing that? So I was telling the others, so why don't we do? Di ba? Maski na
Oh,
pinapagalitan ka, parang may Ilonggo accent ka pa rin.
oh,
Parang,
correct,
di
correct,
ba?
correct.
At least
Oh,
the tone of
oh,
communication would be better.
nice, nice.
You know,
So ganito,
to,
Chris, like I mean, I've seen so many of your of your projects also personally, no. Now, now that you know all of this, and if you can go back to the Chris of 10 years ago and talk to him, okay, you find him broken, you find him fearful, lost, and even thirsty for peace. What will you tell him?
it's all gonna be okay. You don't have to worry about anything. But di ba, nothing. All your worrying, useless. Di ba? It's useless. God's gonna take care of everything. Everything's gonna be okay, no matter what you go through, no matter what difficulty, no matter how impossible it may seem. Stop worrying. Stop worrying.
Is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone in the same situation?
Number one, pray. Pray, pray, and surrender it up to the Lord. You know, it's not up to you. Of course, you have to work for it, but at the end of the day, it's all up to the Lord. Diba? Um, just work with good intentions in mind.
Galing. Thank you very much for the beautiful message, Chris. It's a pity we only have, a few minutes to really discuss this, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of times now we'll be, it's so nice talking about faith, di ba? Parang just casually talking about how God is really working in our lives. Now, there is victory in surrender, and oftentimes we fight our battles dependent only on ourselves. We try to fight our way through the battles of our lives, only to find ourselves even deeper from where we started. When we are so busy looking down on what needs to be done, let us remember to look upward, to see the helping hand that is always reaching out to us from above. Let us do our part, but always be dependent on Christ. Chris, maraming
Oh,
salamat,
amen.
partner.
Amen to
Grabe,
that, brother.
sobrang inspiring ng story mo, bro. Paglaki ko, gusto ko maging ikaw.
Maraming puting buhok.
Saksakan, di
Cheers.
ba?
Cheers, Dennis.
Okay, cheers, bro. Cheers to that, man. Thank you so
And
much.
God bless all of you out there. God bless all of you.
And to all viewers, I hope that this inspirational story has filled you with the living water, which is Christ. And it is my prayer that you thirst for more. Watch, watch out for our next episode. Let's find out more about the story of a sports performance coach who is creating ripples one pebble at a time. Please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for BCBP Alabang. And remember to give us a thumbs up and hit the bell for notifications. This is Dennis Bunye, and this is Thirsty Thursdays. Stay thirsty. Nice one, bro.
Are we off the air? Are we off the air now?
We are still, pero ano naman siya, it's more of a parang ano lang, as we fade, just about just a few more minutes. Galing non, man, pare. Spirit
Oh,
filled,
thank you.
spirit filled.
Thank you. Good job,
Cheers,
Dennis.
ha? Cheers.
Oh, one thing I have to comment on with sila Anton. When it's ongoing, I don't read anymore the chat thingies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes in ano na, parang by feel, pare. By feel.
So,
Kaya
hindi ko na-
si Big Brother andyan lagi for us.
Okay. Teka lang, live pa ba tayo? May nakakita pa ba sa atin?
Yeah, for a while, meron pa tayong mga pumapasok na comments. Ayan, si Anje. Cheers, Anje. Noni Odulio, ayan. Pwede ba sumama sa fellowship nyo? Pwede naman, partner.
Oh, everybody welcome. Come, let's join us.
Yeah. JR, galing guys. Thanks, JR. Si Glennis also. Congrats, mga kuya. We're also having from Vida. Galing. Pare. Kala ko meron pang isang pamatay na question si Mr. Atendido eh.
Oo nga eh. Ito talaga si Bobit, no? Pero malalim yung kay MM eh.
Malalim yung kay MM, pare. Oo.
Pati
Tsaka,
kay Benja
ano si...
eh.
Oo. Sabi nga ni MM, he's a 45-year-old millennial.
Who's a 45-year-old millennial?
Si MM, sabi niya.
Oh.
Hey, Frank. Nice one, guys. Daw, sabi ni Frank. Congrats.
Hey, thanks everybody.
Missing you, Ninong. Hey, Ian. Thanks for tuning in. Galing. Oh, si Toby.
Oh, there.
Hmm.
I can see.
Thank you,
I can see
Kay.
the comments now.
Oh, there. Doon sa comments section niya. Kamusta, bro? Kamusta? Spirit-led, bro.
Good.
Galing.
Yeah.
Galing.
Nice.
Si Brother Chuck, si Kaz. Good show. Good
Chuck,
looking.
sir!
Parang bitin lang, no?
So at least, oo nga eh. Parang bilis pala, no? Tinitignan ko yung oras, parang, am I talking too much? Parang I'm talking too much.
Hindi, okay lang siya.
Then I
Okay lang yung
remember,
pace.
wait, I'm the one being interviewed, so I'm supposed to talk.
Tsaka ano alam mo yun, nag-iinit pa lang siya di ba? That's nice. That's nice. Sina Gia to also. Hi Dennis, shout out rin to you. Enjoy. Yeah. You're with the Che.
It's so hard to focus and to talk and look at the camera.
Oh yeah, especially pag when you're coordinating also with people sa backstage, di ba? Have multitask tayo. Oh, si Chris. Gusto daw ng baso natin, Chris. Yan.
Which
Cheers,
member
bro.
did you open up to the most over a round of drinks? Oh, sige, Bobit Atendido. No, wait. It's a tie between Bobit and Felix Chukinhoy because we always had a round of drinks and opened up when we're in Cebu.
Oh, correct. Tama. Oh, yeah, sige, si Felix. Congratulations and cheers. Diba? Kita mo naman yung video sa ni Mr. Chukinhoy. Gwapong-gwapo sa blue shirt niya, pare.
Oo nga. Oo nga.
Too sexy.
Yeah. O si
Bro Vic Antonio. Hi, Vic. Thank you for watching. Cheers, bro.
Oh, nga. Cheers. Ay, wala. Ubus na yun. Ito na lang. Cheers.
Yan, Jay. Benta na yung glass na yan. I like also. Pwedeng pare. Pwedeng magbenta ng merchandise.
Alam mo, maganda tong glass na to. No? May insulation siya. Okay siya.
Yes.
It's really good. It keeps your drink cold and crispy. But endorser na ako ng baso.
Yes. Correct.
It's amazing. And walang smudge.
Yes.
It's smooth to the lips.
Yes. But wait, if you order now.
It makes apple juice taste like the best beer. Oh, wait, it's beer.
Sabi ni Gia, Rafa calls Bobit, Chris's boyfriend.
Saan yun?
Ayan, naka-post ngayon, pare.
Huwag niyo sasabihin yan. Baka, hindi sila maniniwala dun sa video ni Bobit na sinasabing mabait ako.
Oh, sabi ni Chio, you have to guest in Thirsty Thursdays to get one. Diba? Galing. Galing ng choice talaga ni Chio.
Incentive.
Diba?
To be part of this. But thank you. Congratulations to the mission team. I just want to congratulate you, Dennis. This fantastic initiative.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Galing, no? Anton, Bai, Chu, Casey. Galing, no? Who else are behind the scenes pa ba? Galing, no? Service.
Yeah, diba?
Alam mo, mabuti na lang hindi natin pinag-usapan yung BCMR. What inspired me to serve, yung kay Papa John. No? Naiiyak ako doon pag naalala ko yun.
At saka, siguro, parang we also want to keep the suspense for our participants, diba?
Yeah. Diyan ba si Papa John? Papa John, you make me cry.
Nandito ba? Parang wala Hindi ko pa nakikita Si Chris Mata, I want your glass. Maraming